everyone. Welcome to Spiritism at Noon, promoted by the Spiritist Group of New York. We are currently studying the book A Full Life, written by the Spirit Joanna de Angelis through the mediumship of Divaldo Franco. And I'm going to be sharing my screen with you so that we can read and comment uh, the lesson Joanna de Angelis is presenting to us. Okay, so as always, I will be start reading and we will stop for the comments and questions. We are chapter 4. What do you want me to do? The question that Saul, the young rabbi, asked Jesus when he appeared to him at the gates of Damascus is very current. It held the psychological existential meaning, the essential elements to live and strive to reach the goals designed for the human journey. Neither trivial nor frivolous, it was an extremely important question. He wanted to know how the evolutionary focus should be applied and why he had to change his behavior. In that decisive moment, there was no room for uncertainty or doubt. He could not afford to be vague about his destiny. His path was being set, and he would need a great deal of courage. So he had to know what to do in order to give himself over completely. Even today, this issue is about a very significant opportunity as life without a meaning causes enormous suffering. We must always know what we are doing and why, so as to find in what we do the motivation and the courage to go on. So, this chapter, when we think about the title of the book, A Full Life, and having studied already, going through, we went through the book, An Empty Lives, right? Empty Lives. Now we are talking about full life. We are talking about getting to know ourselves better and also about finding the reason why we are here and what can we do with our possibilities, finding meaning in life and giving life the meaning that it has. So in this passage here, what do you want me to do, is I think many times we find ourselves in the situation uh, when I mean, not necessarily. Let's talk. Let's not go to the ordinary things of life, but I'm saying more in terms of now that I know I'm more than just this. Um, what should be my path, and what should I be doing with my life, with with this assessment of my personality traits. And in this question here, when we think about soul, right, we are talking about Paul of Tarsus. Before he changed his name to Paul, he was Saul, like it says here, Joanna, the young rabbi. We have to remember the situation. What is the context for this message here? He was a Pharisee, or he was on the way of becoming a very important Pharisee. He was uh, an excellent student of the laws, the Torah, the all the laws, and when he was exposed to the new idea of Jesus and what Jesus was bringing, he was really fearful that all this novelty, and that was what he thought, would put the traditions in danger, would be another sect, another cult, or something that would put the traditions in danger. So he took to himself the commitment to eliminate the followers of Jesus. And this is what he was doing. And when he was on his way to persecute one of the well known followers of Jesus, Ananias in this case, on the way to Damascus, what we learn is that he was stricken by a great light, and immediately he fell down his knees. And according to what he reports, he saw Jesus. He knew he was in the presence of Jesus. And at the same time, he recognized the sovereignty of Jesus, how grandiose Jesus was, and not even questioning anymore. And just by the question of Jesus, so, why do you persecute me? He didn't discuss anything. He didn't try to excuse himself. I think that he felt completely naked before Jesus, like Jesus could read and see into himself what was going on and everything. And so the only thing that he did, and immediately changing his direction, as what do you want me to do? Meaning, give my mission, or and that is so amazing. I think this in all the dialogues that we can hear in history, I don't think there is one that touched me more in particular than this one. The certainty that he had, uh, the insight, immediate insight that yes, he is the Messiah. Yes, he is a pure spirit. Yes, I have to follow him. And there is no time for excuses or thinking about the fact I just need to know what should I do from now on. And, you know, like she says here, this holds, a psychological existential meaning, because this is what we should be questioning ourselves in terms of our behaviors, before everything, before every aspect of life. And he went straight to the point, right? And this is very much what we should be doing. In that passage from the Spirit's book, one of the questions that is most commented, one of the most commented that we have in the Spirit's book, question 919, about that it mentions that the most important thing is for us to get to know ourselves, as a wise person of ancient times have said. There is a comment by Kardec after the comment from St. Augustine, that he says that when we are going to proceed with the assessment of what we did during the day, analyzing our thoughts, our actions, our behaviors, we should have answers that would be just yes or no. like, oh, what was I good when dealing with that situation? There is no room for but. Because we can say no, but it was because of that. So it's just yes or no, and this is what we are talking about here. There is no room for a certain uncertainty or the doubt. Him and we should not be vague about our behaviors. But of course, in order for us to do that, we have to own what we do, what we think, everything. We have to be very brave to be true to ourselves. And and this is the what we receive as a great opportunity in life. And when we have a goal, and in this case, we are talking about, a noble goal in life, we will find motivation and courage to go on. If we are living in uncertainty, what is going to be motivating me to, I don't even know if this is true or not, right? So, yeah, I I talked a lot already. So let's see what you have to. Uh,
Yusara, it is a beautiful question. It is. And you just explained it. You just answered. I was thinking and saying, it says, what do you want me to do? Meaning it goes with what you just said with Augustine. Do we know ourselves? Who are we?
mm,
It's very difficult when you're going through life and and sometimes we get into situations that we do not know what to do. And it is, again, you go back and say, you don't know yourselves. You know, it coincides. It's unbelievable what you just said. It does. When you're in conflict, you're not sure of what to do. That's because we haven't done enough to ourselves to know who we are, what we should be doing, what should and should not do. I mean, it's difficult though. I mean, it goes to show that how much we need to continue to grow and understand what we're here for and what we're striving for. But it's so hard that when you're stuck in a situation and you have no answers, you know, I surely pray and ask God to assist me and help me because we're not there yet and we're not perfect and we have so much to grow. I mean, I don't know if that's an excuse. I don't know. But
go
I
ahead.
think it is what it is. That we have to, when we have doubt and uncertain, not knowing what you want to do or how to go about it, we pray that we do the right decisions, and we do the right things, and following our Father's footsteps and understanding what we're here for.
Yeah.
So,
Anyone would like to say something? Yes, Marcelle?
But I didn't remember exactly, but Jesus didn't answer exactly, this question. I don't remember.
No.
no.
This is the point, we sometimes want the the answer like in our hands, and even so, there's in front of Jesus didn't have,
Right.
because we need to discover, no digging our soul, like you said, no, we need to know about us. So it's hard. Every day I'm wondering, what should I do? I'm doing my best, but I think I won't be. I won't have this answers.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. I don't know you if you think the same, but I always, I'm doing my best. I don't like to feel like this, you know, but I don't have the answers and no one has. So I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah, it is interesting what you said, Marcel, because this is perhaps we should look at it not necessarily as a question, but as an acknowledgement and an offering or to show that I am at your service. We can interpret it this way as well. What you want me to do, meaning I am at your service. Whatever you send it my way, um, I will recognize that it comes from you, and I'm here to serve, and I'll be doing my, let's call it my duties, but you can count on me. And I think, one thing that we have to remember, because, also addressing what you were saying, Sarita,
Yes.
is that not even Saul at this point, he was not perfect. I mean, he had just been responsible for the death of Stephen, right? And he persecuting the Jews that were fearing him and giving rise to this movement of persecution of the followers of Jesus. So, I mean, he was not without sin at all, right? Um, as as we are not, and he was not perfect, and in order to attune himself with this new direction, he went to stay 3 years in the desert, doing menial work to, you know, to meditate, to renew himself, and to put aside the arrogance of the great scholar, well born, well raised, with lots of education and Roman citizenship, which was something very important at the time as well. So I mean, he was in the same situation that we are, and I think that in this position, in what Joanna de Angelis is trying to tell us here is, I mean, is the same thing. Let us be open to be of service, not to miss the opportunities, not only to be serving others, but also, to readjust ourselves. Like, up to a few years ago, we used it to behave in a certain way because we didn't know better. Now we know, so maybe it is still not my second nature, but it is my goal. And this is what they are saying here. It is my goal. I gain nothing in being rude to people, in being cruel, in speaking my mind, in being aggressive. But let's say that I still have all of this cooking in me. So now I know my goal. My goal is eliminate this personality trait from me that is not going to work overnight, but I have a reason, because I know that people that do not have that, they are living in righteousness. I'm going to be in peace. I'm going to be able to have better relationships. I will relate better with the world and society. I will be more open to the inspiration and guidance of the spirit benefactors, because I will not harbor hatred and anger in my heart. So I have this clear in my mind. And now I have to go on. Like she says, you have to have a motivation, and you have to be brave. And sometimes
Yeah.
you're not going to make it, but it doesn't mean that you are going to give up. We don't give up. This is it. We don't give up.
Yeah.
we recognize, or sometimes we just have to ask for help.
Yes.
Take me, hold me in this part of the journey, because I cannot go alone. You see, and I think is basically what all of this is telling us. More comments. Okay, so let's read a little more. The level of interest invested by individuals in what they do defines the principles that characterize their behavior. No one can advance on the existential pathway safely and peacefully unless they have ideals, something that compels them to move forward. Among the countless evils that exist in modern culture, we can highlight the lack of purpose and meaning required to experience a life well lived. Without struggle that generates the satisfaction of wanting to succeed at something, everything seems too complicated or markedly simple and too disinteresting to be bothered with. So, um, she is going along the same lines that we were talking before, uh, emphasizing the needs for ideals. And of course, here for our study purpose, we are always talking about ideals that are going to improve ourselves and society and the world that we live. And sometimes what we see in all the generations, okay, let's not just put the weight on the new generation. I think in all generations, is just that, we let life takes us whatever it takes us. And it seems that we are just molded by what society dictates, and it seems that we just go through life aimlessly. I mean, this is it. I'm born, I grow up, I get married, I have children, I have a job, I grow old, I I get ill, I get age, I die.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's very sad. I think it's very depressing, uh, in to think like this and to lead a life like this, you know. Um, so this is why she's saying, among the countless evils, the lack of purpose and meaning is the worst thing. Not having a purpose in life, or it's really not being at service. It's really not saying, what do you want me to do? Because we all have so much to give and so much to contribute, regardless of our bringing background and age, and we all have something that we can contribute, uh, if not outside, within our family circle, right? And and so this is what she's saying here. Let's look for meaning, for purpose, and dedicate ourselves to that. We are not going to be able to embrace the world. We are not going to be, become Mother Teresa the next day. Um, but we will start feeling proud of ourselves, of maybe not so much what we did, but what we didn't do, right? Have to be every time I'm capable of not giving in to my basic instincts. Oh my God, this is what I didn't do that. No, let's celebrate let's celebrate not doing something. Right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true, Yusara. As I saw a lot of that this past weekend because of the celebration. Um, I'm always thinking that I haven't done enough, that I don't have much time to do enough, that I should have done this, I should have done that. And then here comes the family. And they did all this celebration for me. And I'm looking at them and I'm saying, are they really thinking about me and saying things about me? And it was such a nice blessing that they they're saying things that I haven't been thinking of how good I was and what I did and what I didn't do, and that you were always there, that this and this and this. I mean, I was shocked. But I said, is that me? Really? And the memories came back and they explained all these things that throughout the years. And I said, where did the time go? When did I do that? And I'm here putting myself down, not doing enough, haven't done enough. I should have done this, I should have done that. Uh, and now here's Joanna de Angelis explain all this to one. You know, you have to look at the full picture, that we are not there yet, just like you said. And that we have to have faith in ourselves, that we're doing the right thing. But sometimes I'm not perfect, and I go astray, and I have to come back, and this weekend somehow brought a little bit back. Says, okay, I'm gonna keep doing what I have to do, and and do the best that I can to assist and continue doing. But it is, when you have doubts, it's, I don't know why I feel that I haven't done enough, but I will continue to do the best that I can. But it's,
You know what, Sarah? I think that we really are on the way to something when we didn't even acknowledge the good that we are being doing,
yeah,
because we're not doing it for this, not even for ourselves to think, oh my God, look what I did, you know.
yeah,
You just do it because you know that is the right thing, and you're there for the family, you're there for the center, you're there for the friends, you're there for, you know, whatever is requested from you. And at the end of the day, you will say, yeah, maybe you'll say, no, I'm not that much. And then you will be surprised with some display of emotions, like you said,
yeah,
that will surprise you, because you know you are not doing that for for, you know, for a pat on the back or to be recognized. You did that out of your goodwill, of your good soul, and I think this counts more than as just to be assessing, you know, oh, okay, now let's say my diary, right? My day journey journal. I'm saying, okay, there are I made I received 10 stars, right? No.
no, no, no.
I think that we, you know, the assessment of the day, like the message from St. Augustine we have in the Spirit's book 919a, is more about, you know, really pay attention to what you did that was right, so I can repeat this pattern,
Yes,
versus what I did that was wrong. So I will not repeat this pattern, not just to be, you know, some sort of punctuation, right? Oh, I was a good girl, right?
yeah,
Today I excel. And I think this is part of, you know, becoming greater. Um,
yeah.
and so congratulations to you.
Oh, God. I hope-
Yeah. Any comment or
I like when you said, Sarah, when you said that sometimes our best thing is not doing something. It's happening to me all the time. So I have this kind of, oh, I want to say I could say something, but no, what not good to talk about this. So I just, grab the words inside me and try to. I think in the past I just was, talking that I want to talk, but nowadays I try to not talk too much.
yeah.
I'm struggling. You see here, I always talking, but I try. I was worse before.
It's about the quality that comes from us, right?
Yes, yes. But
Yeah.
not so the quality. Sometimes we don't have good things or we're not. But I was reading today about this, the energy of the words. If you don't have something good to say, stay quiet, So, but it's complicated to do this. It's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah, because there is a phrase that I was thinking about Abraham Lincoln that I like so much that it's something like this. He says that it's better to be silent and be thought, that you are an idiot than open your mouth and remove all doubts.
Yeah.
I just love it. Sometimes because we just want to o- give us our opinion, and you don't have that much to share, or we are still so much influenced by the world. We just say things that we have no knowledge of, no conviction of, and I mean, uh, but of course, in terms of um, be mindful of what we say and how this is going to impact other people. I think it's the main goal here. Uh, you know, what the situation is going to gain with a certain comment, and it is because of that, that the water of peace of, you know, Chico Xavier's mother asked him to do. It's a very good advice, just put water in your mouth and don't swallow until, that the heat of the moment passes
Yeah.
and you don't say something that you are going to regret later.
But I think not just this. I'm because I'm passing through some situations. Sometimes people ask your opinion, but they are not really prepared to listen. So you need to be, paying attention. Sometimes they don't want to really, really listen your opinion.
Yeah.
So we need to be careful and no, not lying, but maybe doing other thing. Do you understand that I'm talking?
Yeah, I was thinking, I've been studying a little bit. I mean, I wish I had time to study more about Socrates and what a fantastic personality he was. And one of his characteristics was he never replied to any question.
Hmm.
Like, if you come to me and say, "What do you think about the situation?" He would find a way to say, "Yeah, I've been thinking about this. What are your thoughts?" And like, he that's the rhetorical way, the Socratic way of having a conversation, that he would conduct the conversation in a way, because he started from, of course, the supposition that, like you said, people do not want to hear our opinion about something. They want us to validate their opinion.
Yes. This is
So if you say, if your answer validates their opinion, oh, yes, that's wonderful.
yeah.
But
Yes.
if your answer goes against that, so Socrates, being very wise, say, well, they don't want my opinion. And I'm not going to get into any confrontation here.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is to lead the person to get to get their opinion. And
Yeah.
even when it was not conscious, let's say, it's not that you have a clear idea of you want to do, but it's in the back of your mind. So he would do this, this is what is called the myeltics. You go through a process of, giving birth, so to come about with your own answers.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so, I mean, uh, at the same time that it was very irritating for people to talk to him, it was very enlightening because he would be like a therapist that would work yourself in a way that you would be giving the answers that perhaps you were not recognizing that much or trying to hid it from yourself. And so now maybe we should practice there as well.
I will get this.
Let's make this an
Right.
experiment,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Thank you, Giselle. I will use this.
Yeah, right. So let me see this. Let's read just this one more part, and then we continue next week. In the recent past, society was flogged by repressions and psychological frustrations that drove individuals into neurotic disorders. Petty social, moral, and religious impositions prohibit everything, reducing the human being to a miserable slave of sickly needs. With
Mm.
the advent of psychological therapy, especially psychoanalysis, the roots of human conflicts were found in the dubious behaviors into which individuals were driven by the libido. Once it was possible to experience the sexual function without the punishments, conscious or not, imposed by religion, the torments diminished with the human being seen as part of the animal kingdom, albeit and morally intellectually more advanced anthropological stage. The misuse of sex removed its natural pleasure, and at first, for new sensations, pushed individuals into more audacious and extravagant adventures. So, talking about this not knowing who we are, where to go, having ideals, uh, she mentions there was so much repression in each and every sense, right? In the religious sense, in the sexual behavior, in the relationship with human beings that were from different regions or different ethnicity, all of that imposed so much restrictions on us, and of course here she's talking as well uh, about Sigmund Freud when he brought psychoanalysis and saw all this, uh, human conflicts that were many of them related to this inhibit libido and how it was going to be working in society or not until we recognize that it's part of living. But what did we do after that? We went to the other extreme. Now I can, people start going for each time more, she says here, audacious and extravagant adventures in relation to sex as well. So in this part, she's talking about the damaging of repression, the damaging of being guided by, um, how do you say, you know, values. There are more in accordance to human laws than the divine laws. And any kind of prejudice, extremist behavior or position in each and every field of life, and and I mean, you couldn't be yourself, and you had to pretend to be a person that would be accepted by society. And you know, so when we have to use such an energy to build a character, not to being ourselves, how can we get to know ourselves? And so this is, one of the things that she's talking about here, and how we have been breaking up with all those kind of repressions and prejudice, but there is still a long way to go, right?
Yeah.
um, but yeah, we did a lot already. And now, I mean, each time more, we've been giving at least a certain amount of right to be ourselves. And to try to work in ourselves, you know, closer to the divine laws than just the human laws. But the human laws are progressing as well, and this makes us be in a better position and knowing more our position on life and which way should we follow. Um, there are plenty of knowledge that we can gather from human science and philosophy and knowledge that will indicate to us that certain behaviors or habits are good or not. We don't need any kind of religion or philosophy to tell us that. So we have science already, and are we listening to science? Um, you know, even in terms of economic uh, science, I mean, until we have a more included uh, way of living uh, with all the classes, and um, the ones that have more being more engaged in helping the one that have less, we will not have a good society. We have places in so many countries that you have, that bubble of the rich and all the poor, and the bubble of the rich have to live in, under a titanium shield, because otherwise the poor are going to invade, and they are going to be, you know, subject to be robbed or killed or this or that, but they don't do anything to reduce the gap. So that there is so much that we can do in this sense here, that we can think about, and what kind of contribution can we give to better life in general. But we have to understand all this that we are studying. Any question or comment more for?
Hmm.
Oh, I'll read another one here. Concomitantly, What was left of traditional preconceptions began to be fought against, and the total liberation of customs gave rise to a new order of neurotic deviations that torment the human being. Nowadays, we can find those who prefer to follow the majority, doing what everyone does and accepting what has been established. They are the conformists. Others, however, react and propose specific and extravagant behaviors, forming the group of tyrants or reactionaries. And finally, we find the majority made up of those whose lives, tired of things and pleasures, lost their meaning, comprising with what we call existential emptiness. Existential philosophies rising and multiplying everywhere facilitate the absence of meaning through psychological escapes into other pathological states, namely aberrations, and a complete indifference to what happens, leading to the deep depressions in other animals which do not understand the meaning of life because they act by automatism, sometimes fashioned by human beings, this existential occurrence does not exist. So here we see where we are. We may be among those that are conformists, that they're, this is it, this is what do people do. I just follow the majority, and I'll have no responsibility, because when people say, why do you act like that? 80% of the population act like that. So this is your excuse. Or those that think, no, we have to do something about it. Is not possible, but they go through the way of violence, not the way of Gandhi, right? They go and become tyrants, they become reactionaries, they inflame certain uh, people in society and come with aggressive solutions. Or there are those that, yeah, you know, life is like this. And yeah, what do you expect of life? What can I expect of life, right? And so lives in this existential emptiness. Is a day after the next without uh, any building for anything, any expectation, nothing. This is how life it is, and when something bad occurs to them, it's part of life. They don't do anything to to change their situations. They play the card of, look how how poor I am, and that's it. And like she says here, and the thing is, there are so many other psychological escapes that we try to find in terms of excuses, just because we do not recognize that is so much more to life, and we don't recognize the presence of Jesus in our lives, and we don't have a greater cause to serve. And we, like she says here, we are the only animals that do that. The other animals don't do that. And but
Just
even she says here, there are little animals that you really make more cause more harm to them than good, right? Because if you were not to be giving a certain kind of food to your little dog or cat, he wouldn't have never know in the first place, and that food causes him damage, affects his health, and kills the animal soon. So we bring needs to them that they do not need. Okay, so let me stop sharing and
I remember the Charlie Brown as you are talking about, "Ah, it's okay, the life is going on," like Charlie Brown.
yeah, yes. That's true. Well, that was a tough lesson today, right? Lots of things to think about. And next time we are going to wrap up with the concept, right? That she brings. What do you want me to do? I'm here at service, and let's see how we are going to conclude that. Okay. Any comment or question before we close it? Okay. Soraida, can you do the final prayer to us?